Hey, this is Kamori, and today we're going to talk about how to be interviewed as a cosplayer. Interviews can be a great way to share your work with other people, and we're going to mostly be focusing on written interviews instead of in-person interviews. Those would be a subject for another time. So we're going to start by talking about interviews where the interviewing site approaches you, and then we're going to talk about the opposite, where you approach the interviewing site. Let's start off by talking about where the interview site asks you for an interview. The most common way for sites to contact you is through social media, and they'll send a message through a chat function or a DM, or it seems like every social media site has a different messaging name, but through there they would ask you, and then hopefully they would say what site they're representing. If they don't, you can respond back and be like, hey, so where are you going to post this interview? That is your cue to then do a little bit more research. Once they respond, you can go and take a look at their site and see if that site is something you want to be affiliated with. If it is a site that promotes something you are not comfortable with, just terminate the communication then and there. You don't have to go through with the interview if you are not comfortable with your content being associated with whatever else they post. If you are still interested in going ahead with the interview, take a look at their site and see what other cosplayers have been interviewed and what kind of questions they've been asked. Scroll through and look and see if those are the kind of questions you want to respond to. Once again, if the questions they're asking are things that you're not too certain about, you don't have to actually go through with the interview. Once you have agreed to do the interview, it is time to respond with your answers. You can either have them be super personal, you can be really vague. It really depends on your personal preference and how you personally want to respond. Once you've done all your questions, the site may ask you to submit some photos, or you can offer to supply some photos yourself. Just be sure to credit the photographer who took the images in everything else that you're sending with them. Another thing to note is that the faster you respond, the faster your content is going to show up on their site, so try and get back to the interviewee as soon as you possibly can. Once the interview has been posted, go ahead and share it to all of your social media accounts to let people know, hey, I answered these questions. If you want to know a little bit more about me, you can check it out here. And it's also good form to share it because it shows the initial site that interviewed you how much you appreciate the fact that they took their time to learn a little bit more about you. Another thing you can do with your interviews is to save them. Some cosplayers who have their own website have a tab listed as press or media where they post links to all the places they have been featured. That is one thing you can do if you start collecting a number of interviews or features on sites, is to add that to your portfolio. Now that we've talked about when sites contact you, let's flip it around and talk about when you contact sites. Some sites, such as Geek Girls, have a submission form already in place, and all you need to do is to check under the box for submissions, and it will give step-by-step guidelines on how to get featured on their site. If there is no information regarding that, you can contact the site directly and tell them a little bit about yourself and that you would like to be featured. Now we are going to show two examples, one good and one bad way to approach a site about being interviewed. First up is a bad interview message question. Now let's talk about why this is a horrible message. I've already done a video on why share for share really isn't that great of a method of getting more followers, getting attention, etc., etc., etc. And I have seen this posted on Facebook sites that feature cosplayers, where the cosplayer just wrote on the Facebook page S4S question mark, which is, one, it is really, really lazy, because it shows that the cosplayer doesn't care at all about the site that they are writing on. All they want is fame, essentially. They just want more followers. They're not actually interested because they're lazy and not even taking the time to say what their intentions are. Like, and this is assuming that the site even knows what S for S means. They may not even know that you mean share for share. Now, it shows a little bit more effort if you actually write the word share. However, that's still not a good and professional way of conducting yourself, especially if you're trying to, like, make a career out of cosplay or something like that. That's just not a good way to go about doing it. Now let's take a look at a good message. Here's why this one is better. First off, it has words, which, as long as the words aren't horribly offensive, this is still 10 times better than the previous message. Number two, it shows that you actually took the time to look through their site if you are suggesting some work based on work that they have previously shown on their site in the past. And number three, you're thanking them for their time, which shows that you appreciate and respect the amount of work that it takes to curate and manage either a site or a Facebook page. Once you've sent your message, there really isn't a whole lot to do besides wait. They may reach out to you and express interest in working with you, or they may not, and it can go either way. If they are not interested in your content, you can try again with a different project, or you could try approaching a different site, and if they don't accept your work, it's their loss. Just keep going and keep doing more cosplay. I hope you found this video helpful, and if there are any other subjects you'd like to see me talk about, let me know in the comments below. For more cosplay tutorial videos, please subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Bye!